So you would have been right here off of these two windows?
Well, I had, yeah, right on that side there. That's where I had the desk right here, this side, yeah.
Was there any bubble windows, or was it flat? Or?
No, they were just flat glass. We had the bubble dome up above. You know, that's where if you're going to do sexton work, well, you had the dome up above.
Yeah.
But of course, we never in Europe. We never did any sexton work. We were flying daytime and never night, so never even carried the sexton. And of course, there was no. We didn't fly with a bomb sight.
Oh, really?
We had just a toggle ear on board.
Yeah. So you didn't even have the bomb sight in the
No, the
plane?
bomb sight wasn't in the nose. But I don't know if you can see the seat up there. I used to.
Oh yeah, there's a chair up here.
Oh yeah, turned around the other way. Yeah, you see the back of it.
Yeah.
The guy that was the toggle ear. He didn't like to ride. I liked to ride up in the nose on takeoff and landing. So he'd go back in the radio room. And then I'd turn that seat around and I'd put my feet right up on the glass window.
Really? Taking off?
Taking off and landing. I thought there was just one time when they didn't turn the superchargers on, and you could see the green went by on the runway, and then the yellow strips, and then we hit the red strips, and I said, we should be off. And I jumped up. I was going to get back. I figured we were going to be in the trees. But then I heard them turn on the superchargers right then. We lifted off. So.
Yeah, I got a question for you. You know, they were saying that little thing there that when they feather an engine, they turn their props.
Right.
So these things actually turn.
Yeah, they rotate. Sure.
Yeah. If you go over and look at it, they're kind of a circular base, and then there's what is it? Hydraulic fluid turns it.
Yeah.
So now why are they turning them? I mean, what?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I realize they cut the flow, but I mean when they're. What's the function of it?
Well, if the engine is not running, then the props are going to start turning windmill. And then that's a lot of drag.
Okay.
There's a lot of drag then. And not only that, they'll start windmilling so fast they'll shear the hub right off, and you've got the blades flying off. So
very good. Thank you.
Feather them so they don't turn at all.
Okay.
When you get up to the cockpit, look, and there's some red. Oh, well, there's some red buttons, and I guess all they did is press the button, and it feathered it automatically.
Okay, but it had nothing to do with the takeoff or the landing.
No, you didn't want to feather it then.
Only if the engine kills on you. If you die, the engine dies, then you feather the prop. So
very good.
Doesn't have all the drag on it.
Thank you very much. It was getting confusing, and I couldn't. What was the significance of it? Now it's clear. Thank you.
You know, and the turboprop planes now, it seems like every time you see a turboprop plane, the propellers are feathered, even when it's standing still. Apparently, it just automatically feathers.
Huh.
And I was talking to somebody that runs turboprop, and he says there's two like turbos in there, and they got to get the speed up. And once the speed gets up, well, then that'll engage and get the blade in
turn
there.
it.
In other words, I guess they don't want to turn the blade until they get enough RPM in the engine or something. And then once they get then the blades will start getting their position.
You know, Larry Taylor was late in the war, and he said that they had something called a toothpick propeller, and it gave it a whole bunch more power, and it was longer than the one that's on the 24 here.
Oh.
But, you know, but this is the G, so I guess it's got the chin turret.
Yeah.
And what else would they have had on a G? Anything else that you can think of that was different from the? Oh, the rear ball turret was different. Well, the Cheyenne ball turret.
Well, yeah, they had. Yeah, there was. Yeah, it wasn't really a turret, but it was a different arrangement on the tail gunner. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember that thing there. It seems to me, I'm not sure whether. No, it couldn't have been. We
What's
must
that?
Have that radio dome deal sticking.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen Bob Clemens? You know if he left?
Well, he was inside there a little while ago, but he was not there when we were there. He had come in after the meeting.
I haven't seen him recently, but
he might have left.
Vince was, I think, heading towards the door, but he was talking to somebody.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you. Thank you.
That's okay. Yeah.
Well, was yours green like this, or?
No, it was silver. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, all the new ones came, you know, with silver and whatnot. Decided there wasn't any reason to camouflage them any longer and whatnot. So.
Did you ever run the chin turret?
Oh yeah, I sat up there. There was. I don't see it up there. Oh, it was yeah, it was this piece that folds back across here.
Oh, okay, this little controller on the left side. Really? So you operated that one?
Yeah, you folded it over and then you could, I never fired any guns, but I did fold it out and, you know, swing it back and forth. Yeah.
And then how would you sight the gun? Was there a sight up there?
I think I can't remember. I think the sight swung out there too. That other deal up above, I can't remember. That looks like a sight though. It's over on this side, yeah. But I do remember swinging that thing out, and it just swung out. And of course, we didn't have the bomb sight in the way, so it would come clear and whatnot there too.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know they actually took them out of some of the later missions. I knew they had toggliers, but...
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. No, we didn't have any. No, usually there was only the first two planes in the squadron. There'd be like 12 planes in the squadron. 2 of them would have bomb sights and bombardiers, and the rest of us would just have what you call the toggleier.
Yeah.
So if they...
Now, did you operate the cheek guns?
I did, yeah.
And did you have to go through like a training, like Las Vegas or something?
No, they didn't.
No training?
No training, no. That's what's kind of a joke. Sometimes well, I was responsible for 2 guns, but they never gave me any training on it. Well, they said, well, you got that circle there, you know, you got the bead on the end of the circle. It said, if they're going this way, put the circle this way, and then you think, well, what? I had this gun up here. The only time I saw the enemy, you know, flying is pretty impersonal. It's not like the guys on the ground where you see one another.
Yeah. You
never see the enemy when you're flying. Even if you see another airplane flying, you don't think that's anybody in the airplane.
Yeah.
But one time, 109 came up and it stalled right off our wingtip. I looked right at the pilot. Looked like he was looking at me. I had my gun aimed right at him. Pulled the trigger, it was unsafe. So, and of course, once I switched it off safe, he was
gone. Yeah.
But that was the only time I actually saw anybody, you know, that was the enemy.
Well, did he saw you too then?
Well, I don't know if he was looking that way, but he might have just been. You know, they were trying to ram us that day. They rammed a couple of our planes that day. None of them went down, but one of them took the tail off of the rudder off of it and whatnot, but he made it back. So I thought when he came up and kind of stalled like that, I thought he was trying to ram us. Because normally they'd fly right straight through instead of coming up like that. But they had told the Germans to try and ram us. They only gave them one machine gun with 60 rounds in it, you know, just in case they needed it. But then, but they said, don't try and kill yourself. You're supposed to ram the plane and then bail out. So it wasn't like the Japanese were kamikazes, you know.
Well, now you're flying along at what, 200 miles an hour or something like that?
150 was our indicated, but usually at a couple thousand, you're doing 200 ground speed.
Well, was it hard to keep control of in that wind stream, controlling the gun?
Well, one of the things that you had to be careful with, especially the gun on this side, is you took it was clamped up on the side. If you took it down and you had control of it, you weren't supposed to let the thing go, because if you let it go, the wind stream would catch that nozzle and swing it around, and it'll whop the guy right in the back of the head sitting up there, so you had to be careful. This one over on this side wasn't quite as bad, but that one's right up front, so you let that one go, boom, it'll come around.
Whack you.
The guy in the head.
And then I assume that's probably what, to get the airspeed or something?
That tube, yeah, that thing there, yeah. Looks like the pitot tube or pitot tube or something like that, yeah.
And then this thing on the bottom, that's for compass or something?
That's a radio compass type thing, yeah. Radio.
Well, you always see those, you know, on the bottoms of the planes, the drawings. So.
Well, On some of the older planes, all they have are just a round ring that's usually setting up on the top.
Uh-huh.
And I think it must have been on some of the planes we trained in that did have the ring on it, because I do remember the rings on some of the planes, and that was, you just rotate that ring, it would pick up whatever the station was.
Yeah.
And you'd plot if you knew the ground position, you knew the angle of the station and whatnot.
Well, I don't think I heard anybody say they were in the front on the tag cuffs of these planes, so that was kind of unusual, or
Yeah.
or did other people do that too?
Do what?
Get up in the front in the.
Oh, you
in
mean
the,
sit up in front there?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if other people like to sit there. I flew with the same pilot almost all the time, and I know a couple different times. I don't know what the deal was. I just on a training mission or something. I fly with another pilot, and I didn't have the same comfort as I did with the guy I was flying. I got used to the way he flew and whatnot, the way he come in for a landing and everything like that.
Yeah.
Another pilot do it a little bit different, you know. Then you get a little wondering about it. But no.
Did they try to have a 3-point landing, or was it you hit on the front two?
Oh, I think pretty much they come down on the front too as far as that goes. Yeah.
Well, they had these out, and I was trying to lift one, and with just the rubber, it was like 100 pounds or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had them setting over there. Yeah, Friday they had them down there, and they said they were going to retire. I thought they said just the B-24, but I don't know if they did both of them or not. But I see all the tires were gone over there. They had 4 tires sitting down over there.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was a different tread. Yeah, it's a different tread on the B-24s than on this one. Yeah. I wonder.
Well, you could tell they had little rubber sticking off that they were brand new, and I don't know if these are.
Well, 2 of those over there look like retreads to me.
Oh.
Because they. It said like Goodyear, and that had been scraped off.
Yeah.
And treads looked like retreads then because they.
Now, did you get in the back of the airplane much, or Larry Taylor said he never got past the bulkhead. The first time he had ever been past the bulkhead was with me.
Really?
Yesterday.
No. Especially when I get up on a training mission, I'd crawl around. I'd get in the ball. I'd run the ball around and whatnot, and I got it back into the tail position and whatnot. They had back in the tail position. They had. Sometimes we'd drop what was called chaff.
Oh.
Yeah, and sometimes we'd have the chaff was on a spool, and then there was a little parachute on the end, so the spool of chaff would run out, and just for the fun of it, I would drop some of these spools of chaff out just to see them go down, and then the little parachute hanging back there. But I'd go way back into the tail position, and whatnot.
Now, when you were doing like the bomb run or whatever, could you see down to the ground or anything?
No.
Okay.
Normally you couldn't. That was one time we dropped from 12,000 feet, and it was a nice clear day, and the ground was very good, and I could see actually I kind of got up alongside the Togglier where I could look right out, and I could see the bombs dropping then, and we missed the target by half a mile. And I thought, oh, what a waste, Here we go, come in and
risk your neck for.
And why we came in at low altitude and whatnot, I don't know. But
well, it's got a good view from this angle of the Astrodome up there.
Yeah, that's.
Did you ever use that at night in training or anything? Or?
No, well, I never. I don't remember taking any training flights in the B-17. We took daytime flights, long flights and whatnot, because I practiced navigation. But I never remember taking any training flights at nighttime in the B-17. I don't even remember. I know we had a sextant. We had to carry, when we got on board ship to go overseas, we had to carry our sextant to carry it over to England and stuff. And of course, when we got to England, we never used the thing again. It was kind of odd. We carried that thing around. And of course, you couldn't really use the sextant unless you had the books that told you where the proper position of the stars and things at that time. You go to a different location and whatnot, then your stars are in a different position at different times of day and whatnot. So it was kind of odd that we had to carry those things all around and never use them.
Did you get to keep any of that stuff, or did they grab it at the end?
No, they seemed like they grabbed it at the end. I was surprised at the number of guys that would come home with stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I ended up with a extra 45 because one of the guys, he went on a mission and he didn't take it with him, and he didn't come back. He got shot down, so there was an extra 45 in the.
Yeah. So they took yours, and
they
you
took
got
mine, and I had his. Yeah.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't anymore. No, I had some ammunition for it, and then I shot it all up, and then I went to buy some more ammunition, and it was just too expensive.
Yeah.
So I traded it off with somebody for a 22 revolver and a whole bunch of ammunition.
Yeah, you can still use that.
And I can still, but I don't have that anymore either. As far as I remember that.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Are you affiliated with this airplane?
No, not with the airplane, but I do this when they're here. Open up the ball turret.
Oh, yeah.
And sit and explain it. Here's what I was in mostly.
B-29?
Yeah, the black bottom.
Oh.
They were getting ready. We were getting. Thank God they dropped the bomb.
Yeah.
We were bad weather and nights.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been a bitch. I'm afraid.
I wouldn't be here if they hadn't dropped that bomb.
They had so many kamikaze planes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just thousands of the bastards.
Yeah,
Nobody knew that.
Well, no,
They kept it quiet as
Oh,
could
yeah,
be.
right, yeah.
And then every kid that size would shoot a gun.
Oh, yeah.
You mean when we
Well,
made the move in,
Yeah.
Sure.
that would have been a mess.
I had, read where they even said there was one schoolgirl. They said they gave them an awl.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and he said, well, you can. And she says, what are you going to do? And he says, well, just punch him one time, and he'll go to the hospital anyway, or something.
Yeah. Punch him one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you in where, Saipan or Tinian?
No,
or?
we didn't get over either.
Oh.
We were on 17s. I was a ball turret gunner on 17s.
Oh, okay.
Just when the war ended, zoom down we went to Biggs Field, the gunners, and trained for the 20 millimeter cannon.
Yeah.
That's all we had to train for because we had 250s here. You know, so, and went to Biggs Field, Texas. They dropped the bomb.
That ended it.
Locked the gates, and everybody had free beer.
I heard they even stopped the training flights. It was like, boom, it was a dead stop.
Yeah, go back home.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So you never got over to Europe then?
No, neither one of them. But I got to train on both of them, so that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the 17 and the 29. There weren't many that did. Were you from here?
I grew up in Minneapolis
This is
area.
the old prom ballroom.
Oh, I was there just before they closed that.
were you?
Cab Calloway was there.
And that's me.
Oh, really? Here.
And Dick Finch is the band.
Oh.
Dick Finch.
And you're playing the
Bass.
Bass.
Bass fiddle, yeah.
Okay.
We didn't get the. Oh yeah, here he is. These two were homosexuals, but damn nice. And they told when we came in the band, they said, "We don't mess with anybody.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to be like you are."
Yeah.
So, but they were.
That prom was
Dick
a
Finch.
nice place.
This
I
guy's still
enjoyed it.
alive. Urban Haugen
Oh, yeah.
plays a hell of a clarinet, yeah. And the rest of them are either dead or gone. Those three are dead.
Yeah. So, are you still active with the bass or not?
No, got it at home, set it in the corner, and I'll sell it now anytime, but I haven't been trying yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they're going tomorrow, aren't they?
Yeah, it's still going to be in the morning.
Yeah, I'll still be here in the morning. He told me to.
We're both
Not at 9 o'clock. He's sitting over there.
we're both pretty active with this group. If you get Wednesdays meets down at the Knights of Columbus down on 35W and 494.
Oh, okay. 35W and 494.
Yeah, every Wednesday.
Oh,
It's a good group.
good.
Do you live close around
I
here?
live in Blaine.
Oh, okay.
Right on the end of the runway, practically.
Oh, yeah, that's
in
nice,
a
yeah.
mobile home park there. You've seen it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
That's right.
You know, there's a number of people and just close to the airport that
yes, there are
are
here.
veterans.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some over here. some damn place. Where are the houses? There's houses back in here someplace.
Oh, yeah.
No, they come through there and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you fire the guns in the ball turret? He said he was
yes.
in there too. He had experience with.
Oh, did you?
Well, I mean, I was a navigator, but on
Yeah, they'd let you come in.
I practiced flights. I'd crawl around and get in at all the
Our
positions.
pilot, we switched positions every now and again.
Yeah.
He wouldn't get in my ball turret. No, he wouldn't. I said, you step down on the seat and then step down there on the plexiglass. The hell with that. He said, and he was a little guy.
And that
Earl
looked,
Lucas. We signed buddy crew. So
that looked to me like a hole in the bottom of the airplane.
He didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. And he's a tough cookie.
Oh, yeah.
But not when it came to that thing.
Yeah.
He says, then what do I do? You shut the damn...
Then you unbolt and drop it, right?
Yeah.
Close the door and rotate it.
Yes, right. Close the door and rotate the sucker. There was a lot of fun parts of that. I always tell these people, and when I open the hatch and set it, the ball turret, I always tell them the people in the Air Force, especially combat crews, were the most devilish people you'll ever meet.
Well,
full of zip, and good people.
Yeah.
Damn good people.
Of course,
there were a few misfits, but not many.
My ball turret never really thought too much of me,
Oh, is that right?
Well, get up at 30,000 feet, and it's pretty cold, and when you got to relieve yourself, you're supposed to tell the ball turret to rotate back.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't tell him, so he's facing forward, and he's got a yellow screen on it.
Yellow screen right on the plexiglass.
He said, what in the hell did I come for? I can't see nothing up here if I had to shoot anything,
Hell no. Yeah, the first time I used that damn thing, it flashed back on me. We had a damn it's a funnel. Really, it was a funnel onto a damn hole in the Bombay.
Yeah.
As you come in the Bombay, heading up towards the pilot and go about it's on the left.
Yeah.
And I'd grab it and then the wind would flap it right back in your face. And then it'll freeze.
One thing I always wondered about is those things were going off right next to your ears, weren't they?
Yeah. Right about here.
I mean, wasn't that like incredibly losing your ears, hearing?
Very, very bad for hearing.
Yeah.
I get so many, what the hell do I get? $40, I think, a month from the VA.
Well, I imagine
ringing in the ears.
Yeah.
So if you want $40, go to the VA.
Well, they gave me the hearing aids, which is worth more.
Yeah, that'd be better.
The third set of hearing aids I've got. Every time a new hearing aids come out, they call me out and say, "Come get another."
Good. You go out here then?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, in fact, now I
went to St. Cloud first.
Well, they opened a new place right up at Ramsey now, and I haven't been up there yet.
I haven't either.
Yeah, the last time I was out there, they said they have an audio place up at Ramsey, so next time I can go up to Ramsey.
You can go there now, yeah. They aren't going to be doing a heck of a lot there, I don't think.
Well, I suppose, as they'll probably grow as time goes.
Oh, I'm sure they will, because the city will grow.
Yeah, and then, of course, we're getting all these guys from Afghanistan.
The new ones.
The new guys.
That's And that's going to be, like one doctor told me, that this is going to be mental.
Oh, yeah.
It's mostly going to be mental.
Yeah, I know. They talk an awful lot about the effects of
They're really screwed up. So.
Yeah. Well, I was just talking about when we were flying combat, that's nothing personal about that.
Yeah, no, that's right.
But when you get down on the ground and you can see the other guy, that's a personal type thing. Yeah. So I can see what happened.
Did you ever see that show? The hell was it? A Suicide Mission?
I don't think so.
On public TV, it was a ball turret gunner. Got his ball turret shot up.
Yeah.
And he couldn't move it, and he had it cockeyed, at the angle. And they shot up. They couldn't get the wheels down. Screwed.
Yeah.
So the pilot called everybody one at a time and said, they had 5 minutes to talk to him, say goodbye, and so forth. That had to be the most horrendous thing. I don't know if I could have handled it.
You'd think they could have cut through it or something.
What I would have done, no, he would land it.
Yeah.
It would be, and if you land in a ball turret without, in your belly, that's the belly.
Yeah, then
that's the first thing
dead.
It hits, and it'll break the fuselage right there, and he'd be dead, of course, immediately.
Yeah.
And he knew it, everybody knew it. And I guess that happened more often than people knew.
Well,
That's the only time I ever heard of one, but then they said at the end of the show that this has happened to a number of ball
could have happened a few times,
Well, now you could unbolt the ball and drop it in an emergency.
Three bolts, or 3 nuts, big nuts at the top.
They trained you how to do that?
Oh yeah, they showed us how to do it.
Yeah.
We never, thank God, never had to do it.
So did you, some of the guys said they brought their parachutes into the ball with
Not
them.
me, no. The only one I ever talked to was a little runt. Probably about as tall as that lady over there, and skinny. And he would get it under his right arm and slide in. But what the hell good's that going to do you?
Well,
you can't put it on in there.
Well, you could get one clip in, I think.
Maybe you could get one clip in, but Jesus, that'd be quite a ride down. And then I would rather say to the waist gunner, "Be sure you're there now, because I'm coming out." You know, if something happened. Because the waist gunner was supposed to stay and flip it on you as you come out.
Well, then
you had the thing on, the harness.
And then manually he could crank you out if you lost electricity too.
He could crank you out, right up there on the stanchion.
Now
like we did to get in. Crank them down. The guns down.
The first time I've been in a B-24 was yesterday, and they had the
I've never been in one.
Well, they've got this mechanism that lifts the ball up.
Yeah, it comes out.
And it's cables and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they can lower it down and lift it
that
up.
Would have been nice there. It would have saved a couple of these guys, or a few of these guys that were killed in it. You know.
Well, you ought to go through the 24 if you haven't been in one.
These times.
I
like this thing.
I took a flight in the 24, and it's like a wind tunnel in there. You know, around the front turret, they've got seals around the front turret, but when the wind gets going fast enough, the air comes right around the seals. And then it blows right through, and it goes right all the way through, and it blows past the seal on the tail gunner.
Oh God.
Was it noisy in there?
Yeah, well, I didn't notice the noise so much, but I mean, it's just noisy like any plane. But the only place I'd stand up behind the pilots, and that'd be the only place I'd get out of the wind when I was up on the B-24. And of course, here in the 17, the Navigator's got these nice windows on the side. In the 24, the Navigator's in a hole practically there.
That was it.
So
I used to sit in the radio room on this when I wasn't doing something.
But the radio man had a window on the side
too. Yes, he had a window, and then there's another window. We came in at Rapid City. We came in from a practice flight with all of them, formation, and you come in 3 at a time, and all this downwind crap and all that stuff, and come over Highway 80 there, which is still there. It's a four-lane highway now. It was just 2-lane then, right at the main gates, practically. And we swung around, and we slipped into the slipstream of the plane ahead. Over we went.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was sitting on the floor, and I could see the damn traffic. I said, "What the hell's wrong? I can see the cars on there." He says, "We just flipped." But he got her back. We got her back. But this thing had from about here, a tunnel.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You went through on your stomach, and right about here, you'd come out of there. But the pilot, when I went, first time we flew, he said, "Now, when you bring the coffee up," and I was in charge of the 2 ovens that you'd bring in with coffee and stuff, which was nice.
They're living high up in the B-29.
In the B-29 it was. You could eat. But he would say, if anything happens and there's a hole in it, you're coming out of here like a bullet. You'll go right between us.
Oh, yeah, you mean.
If you lose your...
Sudden stop, you're going to keep going,
You're going to keep right on going.
Right,
Right through.
Yeah, see, with us, if I'd take a bar, a candy bar, or sometime, I remember taking orange along, and of course, when you're a few hours up at 25,000 and 30 below or something, that was a hunk of ice.
Sure, and you're chewing on a frozen popsicle.
So I gave up on trying to take anything along with it.
God. So you went like 10 hours with no food and no water?
No, well,
you'd have some.
No, we were in the air, you know, at the most the 8 hours.
Yeah.
Would be the longest. Of course,
Yeah, and you wouldn't be in that ball very long.
And
Everybody
I don't know.
thinks, my God, you're there.
I don't ever remember that I was greatly hungry by the time I got down.
Probably too nervous.
I was thinking about other
well,
things
sure.
or something. Yeah.
You're damn right. You'd be
And
nervous.
it was I smoked at the time, and of course that was the first thing. As soon as you take your oxygen mask off, you light up.
Light up. Yeah.
And if I'd take a couple breaths of 100% oxygen and then light a cigarette and then blow through the cigarette, the flames would come off.
Flames would come shooting out the end.
Off into the cigarette.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That work is that thing to just chew the hell out of.
Well, that one's a double. You can get a passenger or something.
Yeah, well,
right?
that was actually built that way. Now the one they had this spring down at the didn't they have one down?
Yeah, down here. Yeah,
that was the one that they had modified to get a seat in. Yeah,
right.
I think they had, this one was built for a seat. Yeah.
And you were going to take her, huh?
Oh yeah, I thought I'd take it, but you know, a couple of weeks ago, my wife went to the dentist and she came out with a bill for $4,500.
Oh, God, that'll do it.
And I said,
that'll slow you up.
I says, there went my
there goes the damn
there
ride.
went my ride. I'll have to wait until next year, maybe. Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, this is Jim Rasmussen. I don't know if we've
Mortrud.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I must have talked to you.
I think you look familiar.
You look familiar to me.
Kevin
like,
Callahan.
Like we might have. Were you over here for Aviation Day? You must have been leaving. Yeah, I think I talked to you then.
Probably. When they had the when they had the wall, Vietnam.
Yeah,
wall.
right. Yeah.
See, I had 3 boys in Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
So we've done our bit.
Okay.
My dad was First World War, got gassed.
Oh boy. Did he survive it?
Grandpa was in the Civil War, and he was in that damn prison.
Andersonville?
Yeah.
His dad must have survived. He's a product.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
One was the Air Force, one was a Marine. He had the toughest part, and one was Army, but he was medical.
Yeah.
So he got plenty of people shooting at him too.
Yeah.
Whether you got a Red Cross on or not.
Yeah. You're probably the target.
To them. Yes, that's right. That makes a good target. But those 3 they're still going. They're nice kids.
Well, you'll have to come down and visit that group. It's really a fun group,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of.
God.
How do you?
Can a Navy man get in there too?
Oh yeah.
Oh well.
This whole
sure.
table's a Navy man.
You want to bring a friend? Is that the idea?
Yeah, there's a friend of mine that was on PBYs.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Because there's.
Or Bill is his name.
We had one guy in there giving us a talk a couple weeks ago or a month ago. He was on PBYs, but he was flying the Black Cats.
Oh, okay.
The nighttime one.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how they would turn off their engines and slide in and bomb stuff. Yeah.
Very effective too.
Right.
Surprisingly.
And then one of the guys that I always have lunch with, he was in PBMs.
Oh, okay.
He was an ordnance guy on PBMs.
Yeah, my son in the Air Force was in. He didn't get to Vietnam. He got to where the hell were the fighters? Normally,
Thailand.
One of the other countries.
Yeah.
Not
Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah.
So he kind of had it nice. He could go out with some of the girls, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you couldn't do that in Da Nang. You're right outside of Da Nang. You get shot at too damn often.
That's what I hear some of the Navy guys complaining about when they, whereas us Air Force and Army and whatnot, when the armistice was signed and everybody was celebrating, he says, over there we're just the Navy guys, what could they celebrate with?
Well, that's true. That's right.
You guys back in the States or over in England, you know, you could get out and celebrate with the ladies and whatnot.
That's right. We caught, at the end of the war, when it was all over, we still had a few weeks to be in because we didn't have enough points. So we went to Greensboro, North Carolina, and took over. All those guys got out right away.
Yeah.
So we had to go there and be the permanent party. Because there were guys coming through there to go over and do their tour of duty in Germany, you know, to keep the Germans straight. And so they couldn't start something up again or some damn things.
Didn't you tell me one time that they lit the haystacks or something with the flare guns?
No. I think I told you when on VE Day when the Germans surrendered and whatnot, we would fire pistols. You know, there was a little barracks across the We had like
Sure.
in a circle there, the barracks across. We'd fire this berry pistol, see if we could get him in the doorway.
Yeah, geez, that'd have been a beauty, wouldn't it?
Well, it's good to meet you. What was your last name again?
Mortrud.
Mortrud?
Yeah, that's Norwegian.
Okay.
How do you spell that? M-O-R?
M-O-R-T-R-U-D.
Oh, okay.
Rud.
That's Norwegian.
Yeah. See, Mort's death. Mortuary, mortician, and all that.
Sure.
Mortally wounded.
Yeah.
And rude, of course, is rude. You know, a jackass. So I'm a death jackass, I guess.
Kind of snuck an arse.
No, not very much. I used to enjoy listening to my dad and the other butcher. They were butchers, meat cutters in Hellock, Minnesota. And they would always, when we were there, speak Norwegian, so we didn't know what they were talking, laughing up a damn storm. And I got chusa my rava, let's kiss my ass. And son of a bitch, what was that? I can't remember how the hell that was. But a lot of that stuff, the cussing and
The useful things.
Yeah, the ones you could use.
You know how I happen to know Kunda snuck an arse?
No.
The neighbor lady, she was Norwegian.
Oh.
She had a parakeet, and she taught it to say Kunda snuck an arse.
Was that right?
And I was in her house one day, because I knew her son. Her son was in the Navy, so I was over. And the parakeet says, Kunda snuck an arse. And I looked at the lady and I said, what did that bird say? And she says, it asked you if you could speak Norwegian.
Yes.
And so the bird says, Kunda snuck an arse again.
Oh,
And that's how I learned. I learned from a parakeet how
to say Kunda snuck a nose.
Right, yeah.
Excuse me, one of you have time for a quick question?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, the gunners up here, this front turret,
Yeah.
which guns did it control? Or how many people were in it?
He controlled these two here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see there's a rod that runs right straight up there
On the left side.
on the left side. That one rotates down. See, up on the top of that rod there. You handle that. That rotates down.
Yeah.
So it's right straight in front of you when you're sitting in that seat.
Sure.
So then he's got that little controller on that rod to control these guns here.
Okay.
See, the navigator and bombardier could fire them.
Do both.
Side.
Okay, the navigator, these guns sitting out the side, those were the navigator's guns.
Yeah, he could get it.
I can tell.
Our bombardier was damn good.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was damn good.
So you would just jump from one gun to the other.
Same way with the waist gunner.
Yeah, it was only one guy.
Only one there.
Yeah, he was a navigator, so he would have been the one doing it.
But you had to be careful, especially with this gun up here.
No doubt.
You had to make sure you lock it up again.
Yeah.
Because if you let it go, the airstream would take that barrel and swing it around, and it would whop the guy sitting in the seat, right in the back of the head. You couldn't let go of the gun until you got it hung up again.
Yeah.
Sure. It wasn't like jumping from one gun to the other. You had to make sure you hung that
I don't know how much they used that.
This ball?
Chin. Yeah.
Oh, well, the guys that ran into combat, they used it a lot.
They used it a lot.
Especially when the Germans were...
Upper turret was the first sergeant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was usually the engineer.
Engineer,
engineer.
He did the upper.
Head gunner.
And then he was the ball turret gunner.
Okay. On one of these?
Yeah, underneath that.
So is this one where you couldn't get into the plane?
I would be there. It was too damn hot. Yesterday I got a little bit sick. I was there for 2 hours.
Oh, sure. Oh, you mean you sat under by the turret there?
Yeah, I bring a pillow.
Oh, okay.
Well, I heard in some of these you could have to stay in the turret the whole time, or could you get up into the plane?
No, you can get up. You could just run it back up again. Do this, take the gun straight down, open it up, get out.
Yeah,
Then you're in the waist.
You see a plane that's flying with the guns are straight down.
Yeah.
You know the guy's not in the turret.
Right.
He's got his door
getting
open.
in or getting out.
Yeah.
The other.
Okay.
So, and then once you can close the door and they can crank it shut again.
Yeah, crank it shut.
Crank the ball.
And you've got to crank it up to get in it.
Okay.
Because it sits like this
that.
now. The gun's pointing right to the tail. So you come in and you crank that up and guns go down. So when they're straight down and you see a whole bunch of them and they're straight down or halfway up or whatever, they're getting in.
So it takes a little bit to get in and out of it.
Not bad.
No,
You just put a foot on that seat, slide in, and then sit there like a woman giving birth. Because your feet are up and they're spread.
Yeah.
You got the guns right between them.
Yeah, right between.
Well, I heard the worst position is the tail gunner, though. Is that?
Tail gunner's not a good one. I trained as a tail gunner, but then we crewed up. Did you crew up in Lincoln, Nebraska?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, we crewed up in Lincoln.
No, actually it was down in Ardmore, but then we come back through Lincoln before we went overseas. Yeah.
We had, of course, you were officer.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we were all non-commissioned officers. That's why when somebody called, I signed a buddy crew with a kid from Hallock.
Oh, yeah.
Earl was his name. He's dead now. But, what the hell was I saying?
Tail gunner?
Tail gunner. Yeah.
In Nebraska?
We were both trained as tail gunners. There was a big Indian from Portland, Oregon. Zamora was his name. I thought when I saw the name it'd be a Mexican, little guy or something. Hell, he's a big guy.
How do you fit?
So he couldn't get in the ball turret. So I was her size
So the ball turret was smaller than the tail.
to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't remember now. See, we're getting damn old. Whether I sat on my knees in the tail or slid in and let the legs straight out.
I recall there was like a saddle back there. There was like
Well, kind of, yeah.
a
Yeah,
saddle
leather.
you sat on, and you'd be kind of on your.
Yeah.
Well, did you sort of kneel and you leaned your rear end against
I
the
think
seat?
I did that a lot myself. I don't think I used that saddle.
Yeah. I read somewhere the saddle you could adjust it.
There.
Yeah.
You're quite a ways back, and the guns are sticking out here. And of course, B-29. Now that was a kick because when we got down there, they said the only thing you're going to train on is a 20-millimeter cannon, but you didn't have one on the B-17. So we trained on a 20-millimeter cannon. You got the cannon and 250s, and you were the only gunner. There was none of this central fire control or anything.
Yeah.
They took all that stuff out, and you had two scanners underneath each bubble waist. All they did was watch the ends. If the engine started throwing oil, zoom, back you went.
So all that central fire control stuff, they took them out of the B-29? Oh,
This was for the invasion.
yeah. So the only guns on was the guy in the back, was you?
Gunner.
Oh,
They could only take one pass at you because you're up at real high. The MiG, or not the MiG, but the Zero could only come around behind one pass, and when he veers off, then he's done. He's through. You couldn't catch you again.
Oh.
Yeah, you could really
Because you were going too fast?
Yeah, you're too fast. You're long gone by the time he gets squared away where he can think he can make another pass at you. Which was good.
250 miles an hour? That was...
This? Yeah, I guess that's about it, isn't it?
Well, no, our cruise speed was 150 indicated.
Yeah.
But of course, when you got up at altitude, why
Then you could
get
cut
more
loose.
like 200 miles ground speed. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because you had-
Yeah.
and on a 29, you could really get up higher
Yeah,
than
you could get up higher because you're breathing air. You don't have
Yeah. You don't need the oxygen mask
No
on.
oxygen. No heavy uniform. Like the B-17, you had that damn leather fleece line thing that was Jesus, about this thick. You know, all over. You had the helmet or the coat. You had the helmet. You had boots that looked like the end of the world.
Yeah.
Did you ever wear those?
No, we were up in the front end of the airplane where it
Oh,
was
that's
warm.
right. You didn't. You had it made.
That was usually the guy on the waist
I haven't
that
seen him for
really
quite a
needed
while.
it. Right?
Yes, yes.
He
Where
probably
you
did.
could get a lot of
Been going
breeze.
pretty strong.
And we had electric, we had the electric suits. And,
Well, that's right. We had that too. That little, that little silk bastard that you put on.
yeah,
first.
right, yeah.
And
Now,
then
did you-
burned your ass and back, but the rest of you froze.
Sure.
Did you wear the boots in the ball? Could you? It was
I
too
wore
bulky. Yeah.
Damn bulky. You couldn't get it in that footrest thing.
Yeah.
See, you really are looking like you're going to have a big.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
what some of the guys. Well, there was a couple of doctors that came through and they said, "Oh hell, look at there, the stirrups." And there they were, And then they said, "What do you put there?" I said, "Your feet."
Well, did your feet get cold with just wearing regular shoes in there?
Yeah, but you can get it. You can get them out once in a while.
Yeah.
You don't spend really a long time
Yeah.
in the ball.
Yeah.
If you started getting cold, jack the bastard up, get out for a
Get
while,
warmed up.
Look up. like up there.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we should get you out of the sun, huh? Go get a drink or some water or something.
Me again, too.
There's a lot of people here
handed me
today.
this is an order that you're supposed to drink this.
Yeah, you don't want to get
I know
dehydrated.
It's Craig over there that ran that show, remember?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Craig.
Yeah.
He's a Philippine guy. He just left for Oshkosh.
Oh, I see, yeah.
That's right. They're not here today.
Okay.
Yeah, I better head out too.
Okay.